Thank you, Willow. We're not going to start with our ordinary welcome today because this isn't an ordinary time. Our city just experienced more trauma yesterday, and all of us are bringing our own combination of grief and rage and fear and sadness and hope and resilience and weariness and resolve. And all of those things are butting up against our potential pockets of apathy or of shutting down or of tuning out the suffering around us. This is not an easy time, and it's not an ordinary time. We usually start our services by saying good morning, but this morning I'm going to start with something different. This morning feels like a time of mourning, and in our grief, we are coming together to sing, to share silence, share words, and maybe even share some hope and some resolve.
Instead of reading any of our usual announcements, we invite you to read our weekly email, the e-news, and the wrap, which is the piece of paper over the order of service. If you are not signed up for our weekly email, the e-news comes out on Wednesdays with an occasional special edition like the one that came out yesterday, and you can sign up on the bottom of our website. We want to use our precious time together on this Sunday morning to welcome you to this space to cry, grieve, and lift our voices in song on this cold and heartbroken morning.
If you're new this morning, welcome. Please know that we'll be hosting a 12-minute intro and tour. Meet Emily. Emily, are you? Yep. Meet Emily over there, right by the fabric wall over there after service. And just like last week, we're also going to be hosting a social hour that is divided by geographical groupings. So if you're interested in meeting your neighbors, please head to the social hour after service. And of course, thanks to our guest musician, Willow Waters, for being here with us this morning. We're so grateful for her and her music.
To end this morning's welcome, I invite you to raise your voices in song. There's a local group called Singing Resistance. You'll hear more about them later from RAC, but they hosted a beautiful big sing yesterday in Minneapolis at 2 p.m. with over 1,000 people there. And we learned a song that I'd love to share with you today. The lyrics will be on the screen in just a moment, but they are very simple. And after we sing it through for a bit, I believe that you won't even need them anymore. Our hope for this opening song is to tune into our spirits, to tune into a collective spirit of grief and resilience and strength in community. And while we sing, you're invited to come forward and light a candle if you'd like as well.
And scoot towards the middle of your pews to make room on the end for people that are arriving now. We also have plenty of room up in the balcony as well.
So will you rise in body or spirit with me? We are here. We are here. With our city. With our city. And hear it once through. And our love for each other will carry us through. And our love for each other will carry us through. So we sing it, the first two lines are call and response, the third one is all together. Let's try that. We are here. We are here. With our city. With our city. And our love for each other will carry us through. We are here. We are here. With our neighbors. With our neighbors. And our love for each other will carry us through.
Come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence.
Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes.
For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be.
Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven.
Come into this place where we sanctify the ordinary, where we celebrate the human, where we expect the compassionate.
Come into this place. Together we make it a holy place.
My name is Teal. My pronouns are she, her. I almost didn't want to write something to share today. I'm exhausted. My eyes ache from the tears, and the tension in my neck is worse than ever. I'm in my warm house, cursing and pacing, horrified, while I watch vulnerable people being treated so violently on my phone screen. I'm switching to the GoFundMe, still cursing and pacing. Another restaurant is closed indefinitely. Another family needs donations for legal help, a family torn apart. What can I afford to give? I don't believe in demons or hell, but there's been some comparisons in my head. I am ready for combat. What can I afford to give? I receive a text from a neighbor. Someone is collecting donations for our community members who are too afraid to leave the house. I load up my trunk with supplies donated by me and my neighbors. I drive to a stranger's house and leave it all there, hoping that it will reach who needs it. Is this all I can afford to give? I cheer on my friend who's never been to a protest before. She's nervous that it won't be safe. I tell her it will be safe for you. It's important for you to be there. She went with her middle schooler. The huge group of people, predominantly white, standing in the cold in solidarity with our neighbors, friends, children, elders. This is seen all over the world. All eyes are on Minnesota. I'm terrified and raging, yet clarity is coming. There are more of us than they'll ever understand. Resistance is in small acts, in text groups asking for help, the whistles. It's the GoFundMe goal reached. It's making art. It's here. What can I afford to lose? Be brave, my friends. Every one of us is important. I light this flame from within with my rage and with yours too. Burn bright. Please join me in the opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and spirit is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And please rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 170, in the gray hymnal. We are a gentle, angry people.
We Good morning. My name is Rack. I go by he, they, and I'm the music director here at WBUUC. Jack already mentioned, recently there's been a number of these large gathering of singers and community members under the banner of Singing Resistance. They started in response to Renee Good's murder, and in that first gathering, it was a bit rushed and a little bit ragged around the edges, but there were still 300 people that showed up to sing together. It was led by a small group of community song leaders, Serena Partridge and a couple others. And we met in a church, we learned some songs together, and then we walked through the streets singing those songs to our neighbors. And it was so joyful to see not only that solidarity amongst the people making music, but also to the neighbors who were overjoyed to hear us. It's when there's so much fear and so many people are hiding in their houses, to be surprised by your neighbors singing in solidarity with you, it was really special. Following that up, the next weekend, 600 people showed up for an action where we had to move to a new church because we didn't fit in the first one anymore. And just this past weekend, just like Jack mentioned, we had 1,000 people. So maybe we'll keep doubling, and the whole world will be singing soon enough. Hopefully, we'll see. But this one of the songs that we learned in those gatherings has stuck with me. I've been singing it and coming back to its lyrics, partially because it's so simple that I probably will never forget it. And hopefully after we learn it together, it's something that you can hold dear. But also because the lyrics themselves provide a degree of solace and comfort. So what we're going to do next is learn this song. It's in 3 simple parts. I'll have you rise in body or spirit to sing along with me. I'll sing the first part, you sing it back to me, and once we have it learned well enough, we'll just sing it together in repetition. It starts like this. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, my dear love, here comes the dawn. My dear love, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear love, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear love, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear love, here comes the dawn. Now I'm going to invite children and youth to head out to your programming, and we're going to sing them out by continuing to sing out Hold On. Hold on, hold on, my dear love, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear love, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, Thanks for singing with me.
Will you join me for a prayer or meditation moment? Settling in, finding a place of stillness and groundedness. Maybe even placing one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart, just to ground as we move into a space of communal care and blessing. Spirit of life, spirit of love, spirit of mystery and wonder, many of us are struggling today. We need some help. We need some support. We need some care, both for ourselves and for our neighbors. Radical prayer that it is, we need some holy protection this morning. The voices of despair are pounding at the gates, and we need a sound barrier of hope. Armies are marching in, trying to abduct our neighbors, and we need a fence of protection. And that protection will come from each other, people providing support and care for each other. We pray this morning for that protection, and we pray to be that protection. This morning, this community holds much in light and in love. James and Angela Normington are welcoming their third child soon with their induction that started this morning. Prayers for them and for big sisters Phoebe and Diana. For Norma, mother of Tom Esch, who has been very ill for 8 weeks. She is 89 and still feisty and loving. And this morning I light a candle for Alex Preti, his family, all the nurses at the VA hospital that knew him, strength and healing as they face this time. A Blessing for Those Who Resist by Reverend Katie Ernst. May the unburdened and powerful voice that lives within you, the voice that cries out for justice, for what is right, for truth, for the undeniable right of safety and dignity, be filled with living water, anointed as holy and good. May the broken, the sick, and the wounded places within you, the very places that hold your capacity for mercy, for love, and for holy rage, may those places be anointed. May they empower you to demand repair, to insist on reparation and restoration, to confront and unmask systems that are fractured, violent. May the embers of your heart, those sparks slowly dimmed, smothered by exhaustion, despair, and the tyranny of evil, may those embers of your heart be anointed. And may you face this necessary kind of death, the death of illusion, of terror, of silence, without hesitation and without fear. For your fire is kindled from a place no empire, no principality, no forces of death can reach or extinguish. May your heart be fueled and set ablaze by those who stand beside you, whose voices join yours in an ancient, defiant chant of demand. Scatter the proud, lift up the lowly, feed the hungry, cast down the rich, defend the outcast, the stranger, the hurting. Be anointed, dear brave ones. Be not afraid, for you walk with the spirit of liberation and the spirit of love. You walk with these spirits among you, within you, and before you. May it be so. Amen. Loosen, loosen, baby.
Beloveds, it is good to be together with our broken hearts. It's good to be held in this space where so many ancestors worked and gave generously of their time and their resources so that we might gather here with our broken hearts together in community. Each week we collect for our offering plates. Some weeks it goes out the door to a worthy organization, and some weeks it goes to support the lights that are illuminating us right now. The candles of grief and sorrow before us, which you're invited to light at any time. The heat that is working. Hallelujah for HVACs, right? And for the fact that this one's working right now. Long story, it broke in December. And so we give thanks for all of these resources that people before us have so generously given so that we may be here in community on this day. We ask you to give as generously as you are able. The offering will now be gratefully collected.
Sometimes there just aren't any words. And this is coming from someone who's currently speaking words to you all. And part of my role here is putting words out into spaces and connecting with folks over words. I've been doing some reflecting the past few days. I'm wrapping up my time in seminary, and I'm currently in my capstone class right now. And part of that class has been looking back on all of my written work that I've done over 4 years. And I put a lot of words out there, hundreds of pages worth of words. But now it feels like a time to put the words down in a way. Ask ourselves what comes beyond words. And when I'm in those moments, I draw on my mentors and I draw on my ancestors for their words. And some of the words that have come to me in the last days, hours, have been words from one of my spiritual mentors. His name is the Reverend K.P. Hong. These are words that he spoke while kneeling with other clergy at the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport on Friday morning with a camera trained on him. And he looked into the camera and he said, and this might have been in the middle of his statement, I'm not totally sure, but he said, that we imagine the beloved community. This is just one of millions of steps. He then proceeded to give a huge smile into the camera, a smile that I've come to know and love over my time with him. My friend sent me the video after the fact, and I opened it and it had 88,000 likes on Instagram, which seems like a lot to me. And the top comment read, quote, "Now that's the smile of someone who knows they're doing the right thing." And as we all woke up yesterday to the news of another one of our neighbors being killed, Alex Petty, it was difficult for me to recount the beauty of the day prior, less than 24 hours earlier. It was hard for me to recount kneeling arm in arm with Reverend Jack and Reverend Jessica and so many others cheering us on as we sang and as we prayed, as we loved out loud. And then I remembered KP's smile. And I thought to myself, this is what it's all about. This is why we do what we do. And that's not to take away from the grief process. We're going to be grieving this for a long time. I was talking with a colleague over the last few days with the hypothetical scenario of what would it look like if ICE just left today, up and left right now. And we'd still have wounds that we'd have to heal for years. But it's the joy that's going to get us out of this moment. It's the love that's going to help us through. And so to you, my beloved community here at White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church, we all have so much love for you, and we're all here for you. And there will be millions of steps taken by millions of people. But my ask for us this morning is that we take our steps together. Blessed be.
Thank you, Willow. Beloveds, it is so good to be together in the midst of our heartbreak, in the midst of the uplifting and terrifying roller coaster of emotions that we've been moving through. Anyone else feel like that? Right? In the midst of being scared, dysregulated, and hopeless. Anybody else feel like that? But I started yesterday filled with hope. Anybody else wake up yesterday was like, oh my gosh, Hope, there you are, old friend. Buoyed by the 50 to 75,000 people who marched on Friday in frigid temperatures. I was so hopeful until I got the news about Alex Preddy. Alex, as many of us have learned, and some of you knew Alex, and I hold your pain and I witness it. Alex was a nurse. He was in the profession of care, and he was called to witness the occupation of our cities from that place of deep call. That deep call that came out through his free time when he chose to bear witness and to document. And he horrifically lost his life because of this. How much trauma can a city bear? Can our hearts bear? The Twin Cities have been traumatized. We have been traumatized so many times because of our neighbors who are in harm's way, because of hate and rage and fear. And it is so good to be together in the midst of our heartbreak, because this is what we do. This is how we make it through, coming together, crying our tears of rage and pain and sorrow, knowing that in these hard times there will always be singing, that we have to put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I grieve with you. I mourn with you. I am scared with you. And I have never been prouder to call this state, to call the Twin Cities my home. Maybe you felt like that too. And I've never been prouder to call you my people. You see, I was filled with hope yesterday morning because I had just moved through a powerful 2 days. On Thursday, I spent the day with over 700 clergy who had flown in from around the world to organize, to support, to bear witness to the harm. It was inspiring, uplifting, and it filled my soul. I sang with organizers, and we talked about the power of song. And as you have witnessed, this is a service with a lot of song in it, because we need that. So this organization, March, which is explicitly pro-queer and multi-faith, it formed out of a group of friends in Minneapolis in the wake of the killing of George Floyd. So this group got together 1 week before our gathering and said, let's do something. Let's issue a call for clergy to come join us and witness what is happening here. And they thought, maybe 200 will come. And within 2 days, they had to shut down the registrations because they were at capacity. There are estimates that there were close to 1,000 clergy in the Twin Cities on Friday.
What is happening here is not an isolated event. ICE agents across the country are arresting people indiscriminately without due process or accountability for their actions, and responding with violence when met with peaceful protest.
We anticipated this time of trial, but we still pray. Líbranos del mal, deliver us from evil.
The escalation that we're witnessing, the targeting of immigrants, of brown and black people, of citizens and non-citizens alike, of bystanders and neighbors, is designed by our federal government to isolate people, to fracture trust.
We are now confronted with an administration that does not understand the resistance of a people of this country, and certainly not of this state. An administration that wants to dominate, control, and destroy any opposition to its nefarious, illiberal, and autocratic intentions. But they made a mistake. They misunderstood who we are.
Our dream is more powerful than your nightmare.
And we are here as a reminder that this regime is outnumbered. Outnumbered by millions of Americans across race and faith who stand shoulder to shoulder to reject cruelty and oppression.
Love for neighbor, care for the stranger. These are our foundations.
It's that simple and that profound truth, that we are bound together, that we walk together, that your people are my people and your God is my God.
I believe that we are brave enough to build a better world where no 5-year-old is placed in handcuffs and thrown in detention. I believe that we are brave enough to meet this moment, not because some of us are heroes and some of us need saving, but because the Spirit of God empowers us all.
ICE must leave Minnesota now.
Yes.
There must be justice for Renee Good, and safety and comfort for her wife and her family.
Yes.
There must be a stop for funding for ICE.
Yes.
We must demand that corporations cease their cooperation and collusion with ICE. Faith-rooted resistance is about choosing one another in the face of fear. It is about refusing the lie that safety comes from abandoning our neighbors. And it is about building a collective response grounded in dignity, accountability, and care.
Revolutionary love is the choice to see no stranger, to leave no one outside of our circle of care, to risk ourselves for one another, to show up with whistles when they have guns. And that love is a force that this administration cannot defeat.
Amen.
So that was the press conference at the gathering I was at, which was held at Westminster Presbyterian Church. You saw at the beginning Bishop Marion Buddy, who gave her forum at that same place last December, who I, ironically enough, mentioned in my sermon last week. I did fangirl a little bit over. Hi. I didn't ask for a picture, but I really wanted to. So she was there this past Thursday along with the other religious leaders that you saw. On Thursday, we heard from rabbis and priests who came together to say, this isn't right. And we learned from organizers about what we could do to stop it. And at the same time that we were doing this, 2 people were abducted by ICE. These 2 people were in a car with these agents, and one of the agents began having a seizure. And the people being detained yelled at the officer who was driving to pull over, and then one of the people who had been detained, who's a kindergarten teacher who was trained in CPR, began providing medical care and said, call 911, and she saved his life. And after the ambulance came, they said, can you release us? I mean, we just saved your friend. And the other agent said no. But a phone tree had been activated. The Attorney General had been called, and they were released shortly after arriving at the Whipple building. You see, even in the midst of being abducted, these people cared for their abductors. We can see the humanity in front of us, and it is heartbreaking and painful, and we can cry out with grief and still go towards humanity, even when their actions are evil. We hand them roses, as Reverend Jack mentioned in his sermon from a few weeks ago. On Thursday evening, First Universalist hosted a dinner for UU religious leaders, and our colleague, Reverend Robin Tanner, reminded us of the story of Claudette Colvin. How many people know who Claudette Colvin is? Okay, that's like 4 more than in the first service. Not that it's a test, not a test. So, Claudette Colvin was 16 years old on March 2nd, 1955. She was riding a bus and a white woman asked her to give up her seat and she refused. She was part of the NAACP Youth Council at her high school. She'd been learning about the civil rights movement and she decided to remain. And the civil rights movement sought to diminish her story and not make her the face of the movement because they thought she was too young, too pregnant, and too opinionated. She later recounted that when she was sitting on the bus, she felt the hands of Harriet Tubman on one side and Sojourner Truth on the other, telling her to remain seated. Claudette Colvin passed away just 2 weeks ago. May her memory be a blessing and her actions a charge to us. Claudette Colvin said, I was tired of hoping for justice. When the moment came, I was ready. Are you ready? We all have ancestors that are guiding us in this work. We are guiding each other in it. And what I have seen over and over again since this occupation is care. So whose hands are on your shoulders right now, urging you to action? Whose hands are guiding your own as you install yet another app, Signal, on your phone and figure out how to use it? It wasn't self-explanatory to me. Whose hands are guiding you as you go to community gatherings, as you purchase groceries, as you pull out your phone, shaking to record what's happening? Whose hands are on your shoulders? Because as I said last week, in the words of Reverend Rachel Hayes, find your lane and find your people. With our ancestors' hands upon our shoulders, urging us to care and to action. Care for each other, care for our communities, and turning towards each other. Because we all have a place in resisting this occupation. You don't have to go get arrested. We all have a place. And if you are in need of care and support as we turn towards each other with care, our community affiliate ministers led by Reverend Jill are in the alcove after the service if you need some care. Reverend Kristen, Reverend Ann, thank you all for being here, for holding this space. Reverend Jill messaged me yesterday and said, what can I do to help? I can pull together the chaplains. This matters. The ways that we care for each other matters. If you're not on the streets, maybe you're babysitting or making a meal for somebody who is. It all matters. We all have a place in this and all are needed. When the call last week went out to clergy to get arrested at the airport, my instant response was, hell yes. My parents' instant response was the opposite of that. I was so ready to show up and be faithfully present, to be arrested amongst my colleagues, Reverend Jack and Kaz, and at least, yes. And also at least one congregant here was arrested as well. I was so ready. And then I remembered that's not my lane right now. That maybe we didn't need all three of the ministerial staff getting arrested 2 days before a Sunday. That maybe my toddler didn't need me getting arrested. So I became support. Marching at the airport on Friday for hours, singing with those clergy who were kneeling in front of us, who were leading with love in front of us. It was inspiring and powerful and very cold. And as each person was tapped gently on the shoulder and rose to be arrested, it was the most peaceful arresting I have ever seen. We all shouted out, "We love you, we are with you," stomping our feet to the songs. I watched a retired colleague who is in his 80s rise up after kneeling on the ground praying, and we shouted, "We love you, we are with you." We sang the song "Lead with Love" by Melanie DeMore. She wrote it in 2016 after the election that year. One of the verses is, "I know you're scared, I'm scared too, but here I am, right next to you." We sang that over and over again as we lived into our faithful expressions of resistance. After the airport, colleagues and I went out to lunch to a restaurant that donated 100% of its proceeds that day to the Immigrant Support Fund. And I was wearing my collar, very visible sign of being clergy. At lunch, the bartender came over to our table and said, "Are you visiting from out of town?" And I said, "I'm a local." But the other two ministers I was with were visiting from DC and California. And her eyes welled up with tears and she said, "Thank you for coming. This matters, you being here. This matters." This restaurant was 10 blocks from where Alex was killed on Nicollet Avenue. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you. And we hurried out of lunch back into the cold to go to the lobby of the Target downtown to sing in resistance and ask Target to stop allowing ICE to abduct people in their stores, to stop allowing them to use their parking lot for staging. And we lifted our voices to the song by the Peace Poets and Francisco Herrera, Solo el pueblo salva el pueblo. When one of us falls, we all rise up. This means only the people will save the people. Only the people will save the people. And after Target, we weren't done yet. We were fueled up. We took to the streets and with the many thousand, and we marched and we sang. And I know that they were also singing expletives or yelling out expletives, so we found a video that didn't have that. So we passed by US Bank and saw clergy sitting in the lobby singing because we're asking these corporations to speak out against this occupation of our city. We raised our voices in song and swear words, saying "ICE out" over and over. And after I went home that night, so filled with joy and hope, a colleague of mine, Reverend Sarah Smalley, shared the context of the term "ICE out." Who's familiar with that term? There we go, more than in the first service. So I didn't know this because I'm a newer local. So she said ICE out is part of Minnesota culture. It's the day in spring when the last chunk of ice melts in the lake and the lake becomes liquid water again. Neighbors who live on lakes bet on what day it'll happen. It makes the news headlines. Are you betting on it, Aaron? Yeah. Yep. And in small town papers, it's the sign that spring is just around the corner. So ICE out is something we take seriously here, she said. It means the turning point when the seeds that were dormant all winter will start to grow. Therefore, whether you were shouting ICE out in the streets or from your homes or from somewhere else, this is your invitation to awaken those seeds, to feel those hands upon your shoulders urging you to act. And not to wait for others to tell you what to do, but to get in community and figure it out together. We were invited on Thursday to listen and follow the people that are closest to the pain, to go towards each other, and to accept that we may have ideological differences with each other, but what matters is that we resist. We all have a part in this, and if you're saying, I don't feel comfortable leaving my home, I can't get arrested, just to reiterate, that's not what I'm saying here. You can assemble food from your home. You can check license plates in your neighborhood to see if they're confirmed vehicles from federal agents, and you can get to know your neighbors. Last Sunday, I went to a rapid response training in Stillwater with 575 of my neighbors. Some of them are some of you. I went with a friend of mine who spent the afternoon delivering cookies in her neighborhood with a flyer with her name and photo and information on it to try to get to know her neighbors. Ooh, does that just make you feel uncomfortable, putting your information out there like that? Makes me feel uncomfortable, but what a brave act. So do you know all of your neighbors? I don't. If you don't, now is the time to find your lane and find your people. The 1,000 clergy that gathered last week happened because a group of people said, let's try this and figure it out as we go. It's scary out there. It is so scary. But if one of us falls, we all rise up. And remember that we are doing a rapid response training here this Thursday evening from 6 to 8. We could use some ushers. I don't think we've even asked that yet, have we? So if you're around and would like to usher or greet, please email me. And remember, we're figuring this out as we go. You just saw me do that in real time. So yesterday, when word came of Alex's death, many of our UU colleagues were at the airport already to fly home. They canceled their flights and said, "How am I needed? Tell me where and when to show up." Last night at the vigil at Unity Church Unitarian, all of these ministers were invited up on the chancel. There were over 40 of them up there to sing "There Is More Love Somewhere." This morning, they are attending worship at a church in St. Paul that has a lot of immigrants who are congregants. They are there to bear witness and to protect. We need to sing, to move our bodies, to connect with our breath, and to synchronize our hearts. Remember in January when I preached about, oh, we're still in January. What a long January this has been. Am I right? Has it been like a 6-month January? Ooh. So way back at the beginning of January, I preached about the Rosetto effect, that being together in community is good for you. To remember that in these hard times, there will always be singing. I saw a video of the end of the march on Friday, maybe some of you saw it, with the whole crowd singing along to "We're Not Going to Take It" by Twisted Sister. Remember, there is still hope and joy. Remember that the Twin Cities is full of people saying, "We are not going to take it. We're going to show up for each other. We're going to put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. We're going to lift our voices in song as if our lives and those that we are connected to depend upon it. Solo el pueblo salva el pueblo. If one of us falls, we all rise up." So to end my sermon today, because I know you're looking forward to cookies and community in the social hall and your neighborhood groups, I have 2 pieces of homework for you. The first one I received from Reverend Sophia Betancourt, the president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, who is a friend to this pulpit. She was in town for the clergy gathering, and she charged us on Thursday night to reach out to 2 colleagues. She said, reach out to one you know could use a little support, and then reach out to one who typically spends their time supporting everybody else. Send them some love too. So for my first piece of homework for you is to reach out to 2 people. One of them who you know could use some support, and the other, that person, you know, that friend of yours or family member who's always supporting everybody else, give them some love. They are often the ones that really need it, but they're not going to tell you they need it. My second invitation is to come to the geographical groupings after the service to get to know people of like minds who live in your area. It's going to be messy. This is not a perfect process. We're not giving you the clearest plan of what to do because you're figuring it out together. We invite you to get to know the needs of your community. You never know what will be born of that. The seeds underneath us are dormant. They're waiting for ice out day, for the ice to thaw and nourishment to come. Ice out is coming. Do not lose faith, beloveds. Only the people save the people. And being part of the resistance needs all of us. There is a place for all of us. Find your lane and find your people. You are my people. We are in this together, one foot in front of the other, leading with love. I know you're scared. I am scared too. But here I am, right next to you. Will you join me in that song, please, by Melanie DeMore, Lead with Love. I'm going to teach you the chorus, and then the verses are call and response, and Reverend Jack and Rack are going to help me as well. And I'm going to turn off my mic so that I don't blow out all the people who are on the Zoom. Welcome, 11 o'clock Zoomers, by the way. Welcome back. All right.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Please remain risen for our closing words, which are adapted from Claudette Colvin and Reverend Wayne Arneson. And you please repeat after me. Take courage, friends. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard. The way is often hard. The path is never clear. The path is never clear. And the stakes are very high. The stakes are very high. I am tired of hoping for justice. I am tired of hoping for justice. When the moment comes, I am ready. When the moment comes, I am ready. Take courage. Take courage. For deep down there is another truth. For deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. You are not alone. I invite us to sing as we leave the sanctuary and travel to the social hall by Linda Hirshhorn. In these hard times, there will always be singing. Sing to your neighbors, sing to your own heart. In these hard times, there will always